LKA has been strongly embraced by parents and students. We have close to 400 children whose parents decided it was a good thing to send them here, and most of our children stay. Countless parents tell us that their child attending LKA has made a tremendous change in their family and in their child's life because of the boost in their child's self-esteem and the knowledge that there are other children like them. Of course, they also actually start to read as well. The teachers are totally invested. They have stayed with us and do a really good job. I see that they really enjoy it. They are invested in the child's life, just not one score or 1 week. They see the big picture. They see the potential in the child's life, and not just some moments in time on a score or a grade or a class. I know they're taught to look at these things, but these teachers actually see the potential in these children. Part of it is the professional development they receive. Part of it is what you learn just from teaching a lot of children with dyslexia from year to year. And here you can see in the next slide, I really look forward to teaching and lecturing to the LKA faculty as I'm doing here. One little child in particular came in who couldn't read. Today, he is a remarkable, profoundly changed child. He was smart and incredibly creative, but wasn't able to communicate well, which he can now do with both his teachers and his peers, and he's able to read. So the hope of his parents is now dramatically increased, as is the child's self-esteem. Basically, he is no longer isolated. He's able to socially interact and have friends, which he was not able to do before. What encourages me the most is that we've changed this child's life just about 180 degrees. What concerns me is that there are many more like him who remain unidentified and don't learn to read, and whose self-esteem is under constant attack. What is so important to the success of LKA is that all the teachers, our accountant, people at our front desk, they all respect and understand that these children have dyslexia and that they're bright. They just have to be taught in a way that recognizes the child's dyslexia. Our job is to figure out what it is a child needs to learn to be successful in life. Dr. Cassidy has strong feelings about the tendency in many schools to avoid using the word dyslexia, and instead to use nonspecific, vague, ill-defined, relatively meaningless terms, such as learning differences. She emphasizes that dyslexia is a discrete, scientifically well-defined entity, and that use of the word dyslexia conveys much important information about the child. So I ask, when do you think is the optimal time to identify dyslexia, and by what method? We are happily making progress in having schools understand the key need to screen for and identify at-risk boys and girls early, in kindergarten or first grade. For example, we are working with one school that is now screening all their kindergartners and first graders with the Shaywitz dyslexia screen. Early screening is incredibly important, and equally important is for screening to be carried out by an evidence-based method, one which has been tested in a real study, which indicates that this method is effective in differentiating children who are at risk for dyslexia from other children who are not at risk. Unless it is evidence-based, there is no proof the screener will accurately identify children at risk for dyslexia from those children not at risk. In 21st century science, evidence-based is the critical component. Otherwise, the proposed methods may sound good, but unless there is supporting real evidence of effectiveness, it should not be used. It is important to note that there is often a confusion between screening and assessment. A screening instrument means a brief, evidence-based tool which may include checklists completed by an appropriately trained school employee to determine risk for dyslexia. In the latest definition of dyslexia passed by Congress, dyslexia screening program means a screening program for dyslexia that is evidence-based, with proven psychometrics for validity, efficient and low cost, and readily available. Those children who screen as positive for a risk for dyslexia are then assessed in more detail to facilitate appropriate instruction and progress monitoring. Such assessments may include assessing phonology and phonemic awareness, sound symbol recognition, and symbol sound recognition, alphabet knowledge, decoding skills, including real and nonsense words. It is important to emphasize that screening comes first and is simple. Only after screening indicates a student is at risk for dyslexia is a detailed assessment performed. So what are your thoughts about screening for dyslexia in early school grades, kindergarten, first, second, and third?
I think it's a game changer.